Okay, it says I'm live. So let's see what it does. Because, nothing ever goes wrong here. Yeah. Okay, so it says it's still waiting for me. So let's make sure I'm actually... there it goes. Good. Excellent. All right. 27 October 2021. Next week, I guess it will be at 1900 my time. It's 1800 my time now. Sorry, Drew. I'll have it straight by next week. All right. But I'm here now, and I'm going to do the thing. All right. I want to do my shilling first. Up in Washington State, there's an outfit called Private Sector Arms in Olympia. They have found a way to make the AR-15 Washington State compliant. If you're in Washington State, all right, take a day trip, go to Olympia, check this out. Even if you end up getting a knife or something ridiculous like that. Oh, I so want to take a trip up there one day. Hi, Squatch. I so want to take a trip up there one day just to check this thing out. And someday I will. By the way, the invite is in the description, so this is a crashable party. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Bear with me. I would normally be napping right now, but the overwhelming majority said they wanted it on Wednesday night, so Wednesdays it is. Love you, Susan. Moving on. All right, so my first big shell. Private Sector Arms, go check them out. If you get a minute, get the kit anyway. Just get the kit. Even if you just take it home and have it in a little bag at the bottom of your safe, right? Show a little love for those of us who are behind enemy lines. I'm just saying. All right, my next shill is Regular Guy Guns. It's a web zine, and a link to them will be them and PSA will be in the pinned comment. I don't like pinning comments because it looks like you're kind of jerking yourself off. Oh, look at me, I'm so important. But it is sometimes necessary. I'm so important, I can pin my own comment. Yeah, no. But it is what it is. And sometimes it is necessary. All right. Regular Guy Guns is a webazine. They do gun reviews, and I like them. Right? I like the guys. The content I'm más o menos about, but I like the guys behind it. So that actually counts for a whole lot more. I'm going to add the chat to the description because I didn't do that before. Or to the stream because I didn't do that before. Pop out chat. StreamYard. Screen share. Share screen. Windows. There we go. Yes, that's a little bit better. Folks, I put my chat into the stream so that you can see it later. All right, because this goes to BitChute. It eventually will get to full 30. And I want people to be able to look at the and know what was said. There are some other people that are very active with their chat, interacting with their chat actively. Didn't put that very well. And if they were ever to take their video off of YouTube, you wouldn't know who the hell they're talking to. All right. I've been pestering StreamYard to add the chat to the stream. Right, just a little box, you could follow it. That's not going anywhere, so it is what it is. But hey, you guys can pester them as well. Pester them with me, all right? Okay, last shill, I promise. David the Gay Republican. I like David. He's funny. He's funny as fuck. 99% of the time, he's funny as fuck. He moved from Ohio to Georgia. His new job wasn't starting right away, so he ran off to, was it Detroit? I think it was Detroit. Got back home and realized he was a little bit short on cash. So he asked people for help. He asked his followers for help. Well, me, being the way I am, I was like, oh yeah. I gave him $5, but I also tried to share his story around, and I got accused of shilling. Are you fucking kidding me, League? So, ever since, every chance I get, I give David a shout out. So if you have a minute, go check out Gay Republican Swag or David the Gay Republican. I think he's funny. Right? I'm not his favorite person, by the way. I shouldn't be either. I'm not even my favorite. I'm not my favorite person. So, go check him out. All right. Now, let's get on with the rest of it. I'm going to address the elephant in the room that has a lot of people very, very upset. Last week, there was an incident at the filming of the film, site for the filming of Rust. Alec Baldwin actually shot and killed somebody. There's not been any dispute or question. The gun was in Alec's hand, and there's some contention about what exactly happened in order. He said something to the effect of, "Is this what you want?" Well, because there's no video, or at least it hasn't been released, of what happened, we don't know how he said it. We don't know what he meant by that. There's people who are saying this was a rehearsal. There are other people saying that he was getting smart with the director when the gun went off. Now, guns don't just go off. All right. It does happen, actually. It's called a hammer fall. But it's such a rare event. I don't believe this was a hammer fall. I don't believe the gun was in any way defective. I believe that he placed his finger on the trigger and something to the effect of, okay, so is this what you want? And then it went bang. It happened. There is, to the best of my knowledge, absolutely no evidence that this was intentional. There may have been quite a bit of negligence involved, and I'll get to that in a minute. I will really get to that in a minute. but no intentional act. No evil, no malice. I'm hearing a lot of people saying he belongs in prison and a lot of other things that are quite inappropriate to the actual situation. So let's go over this actual situation. First thing, people keep saying that live rounds should never be on set. Well, actually, no. Live rounds are used on movie sets from time to time. If you've ever seen The Hunt for Red October, the scene where Jack is shooting at the cook, those were live rounds. You're getting through there, Squatch. Something wrong? So yes, those were live rounds. Those were actual 9mm bullets that actually came out of the gun. There's a scene, although it may have been cut, from the movie Aliens involving the gun, the MG42, the one that they chopped up with motorcycle parts and put it on a Steadicam rig. Actual bullets were used there too. Apparently, they were looking for a sound effect. Okay, that didn't strike me as the most important use of a live rounds on a movie set, but I'm not the director, I'm not the producer, and I'm not the insurer. You can be rest assured the insurance company behind Rust is all kinds of mad right now. Well, let's move on. So yes, live rounds are sometimes used on movie sets. The normal way that firearms are handled on set, one guy brings a gun. Another guy brings the ammo, whether they're real bullets or they are blanks or they are squibs, which is what was supposed to be, or so-called suicide rounds, which was what was supposed to be used on the set of The Crow. They used a squib instead. Oops. That is quite unfortunate. A squib got through. One guy brings the ammo. He brings it to whoever is supposed to load the gun. Now, it's supposed to be the weapons master or the armorer or whatever the hell you want to call him. That way, two people know what kind of ammo was put in this gun. Was it suicide rounds? Was it squibs? Was it blanks? Was it real bullets? In which case, it's very much a hot gun, all right. Now, for reasons that we do not know, the gun was not properly cleared or was not properly loaded. Because the story has been very consistent. These were live rounds and should not have been in a gun that would be pointed at somebody. Would not have been pointed at a camera. Would not have been pointed at a camera behind a piece of glass. Would not have been pointed at anything that they want to see broken or damaged. Would probably not have been used inside a building unless it's a soundstage. Would very, very, very rare that live rounds would have been used. If you've ever seen any film where they're shooting at cans, they're not actually shooting at cans, right? Even those are trick photography. Exactly how they do the trick, I don't always know. Something went wrong. Rounds that were supposed to be removed from the gun were not. Oh yeah, about that. And this is where things definitely took a wrong turn. Earlier in the day, or the previous day, They had been plinking with those guns. Now, I've gone plinking, no big deal. Usually it's 22s. Apparently they were plinking with a 44 cal. Okay, well, okay, that happened. That gun should have been completely cleared. Not only cleared, but shown cleared before it got put back into rotation. And more to the point, that gun should not have been used for plinking. Either you plink with the gun or you do something else with the gun that doesn't involve filming, or it's part of the production. That's it. There cannot be any crossover. And what happened last week is a pretty good, or earlier this week, it's a pretty good example of why you don't cross those lines under any circumstances. I have never worked on, as security, on a movie set. Never. I actually have to kind of take that back. I did security consulting for a movie house about 10 years ago. Their building got broke into. They hired me to come in and take a look and figure out what they could do to stop it from happening again. And the first thing I told them to do was take the emergency emergency exit ladder out from the side of the building. I also pointed out that you really can't climb from the roof to the ground by that ladder before the smoke or heat will overcome you anyway, so it's not doing you any good. You need to do something else there. That is what it is, right? I also didn't officially have a gun on me that day. You know what I mean? This particular studio is in San Francisco, California. Draw your own conclusions. But no, security's guns should never have been part of the set at all. The guns that were part of the set should not have been used for plinking. They should not have been used for promotional activities until after filming wrapped. It should not have been used for anything except the film under the conditions they were supposed to be used under. That's it. So that's a big thing that fucking went wrong, didn't it? And you think me being mandatory carry, I'd be like, oh yeah, everybody's got to be armed on set. No. Deliberately pointing guns at each other, even under extremely controlled conditions like that, is absolutely insane. I'm not going to go so far as to make it an exemption under mandatory carry, but I am going to go so far as to say that was stupid. All right. And there's actually an exemption that would cover this. Generally speaking, unsafe working conditions. I'd have been okay with that. I'd be happy to testify to that one myself. It happened. Now, apparently Alec was told that this was a cold gun. What the hell's that? Oh, stand by, folks.
Greetings and salutations.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Caucasian Sasquatch. Y'all remember him better as Great Sky Troll Anti-Drama.
I don't know what.
And
never heard of that.
I just lost my chat.
I can think.
Whoa! Okay, that worked. Not as well as Squatch. You still there?
Somewhere. Yeah, I'm in here. I'm just behind the
Okay.
scenes, so to speak.
You've been listening to my little rant here?
I have.
Good. Hit me with your best shot.
Man, look, I've been being beat up on Facebook and YouTube all day about this, but it comes down to one simple fact. When a person takes possession of a firearm from anyone for any reason or any circumstances, that person is responsible for that firearm, period. Regardless of
You
who
want
gave
to
it,
take a
why they gave it to them, what kind of experience they have. When you take that gun, when you possess it, it becomes your responsibility to be safe with it.
Do you know why I'm smiling like this?
Because I'm right.
You're,
I don't know.
no, not because you're breaking up so badly.
I'm sorry.
What? Yeah. What did you try to say?
When a person, hold on, I know what's wrong. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I'm going to skip to the chase. I'm looking at the sort of case study as to why whoever takes the talent, Alec Baldwin or whoever the hell else it is, actually does not check the gun. Because I know where you're going with this. You know, whoever takes the gun has to check and make sure it's unloaded, right?
Not necessarily.
Ooh,
My point
a new
is
version.
that accepting now, people are making the statement about a prop gun.
Yeah.
I think there's such a thing as a prop gun. It either fires real bullets or it does not fire real bullets. And if it does, then it's a gun.
Okay. Actually, there is such thing as a prop gun.
And it doesn't
This is
fire
more of.
bullets.
Oh no. I'm going to say it's mostly a European thing. In most of Europe, it is legal to have a gun that is designed to fire a round that doesn't otherwise exist. That's, for example, have you ever heard of a 48 caliber pistol?
Not in any real production.
I've never heard of a 48 caliber pistol.
There
Maybe
was
it's something that does exist.
a muzzle loading dueling pistol that was made specifically for
Ah,
use in a particular circumstance. I'm aware of it. I don't remember exactly what the circumstance was. I just remember reading about it.
that's fine. That's fine. So have you ever heard of a 48 caliber semi-automatic pistol?
Ow. No.
No, I haven't. Um, DM Foss is saying that your level is a little low. I'm going to see if I can manipulate it.
Oh, I can tinker on that.
I'm going to. Okay.
That was neat.
So 48 caliber 1911. Not a thing, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Right. It would be a thing, however, in Europe. That's the only way most people in Europe can legally own a gun is it fires a non-existent round, and you just make blanks for your 48 caliber 1911, and I mean it doesn't make sense to me, but I guess it would work. Also, starter pistols.
If it
You
shoots
still
a
there?
bullet, if it shoots a real bullet that can really kill, I'm afraid
Starter gun?
can it shoot a real bullet? Can you, if it's a
Ooh.
30 caliber starter pistol, can you put a real 38 in it and pull the trigger?
You if it is manufactured the way it is supposed to, no, you will blow the barrel right off.
Starter pistol. A gun fires a projectile by the use of chemical propellant from a barrel. That is what this gun did. That is a firearm.
It is. That is.
Possession of a firearm, it's his right, it's your right, it's also his responsibility and your responsibility. When you take possession of a firearm, you are responsible for whatever may happen to it while it's in your possession. I know he's a producer. I know he's an actor. I know he's not trained. He should be.
Yeah. We'll talk about the shoulda and woulda, coulda training issues in a minute. Let's come back to that. All right. Squatch, you look like you're about the same age as me, 45, right?
42, yes, sir. Close
really?
enough.
I'm older than you?
A little bit, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't expect that. It's the whole retired thing that gets people.
Okay. All right. So surely you would remember 1986.
Somewhat. Yeah, I was 5.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, he's not lying about the somewhat part. FX, that's Foxtrot X-Ray, for those of you listening in, is a 1986 American action thriller.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Starring Brian Brown, Brian Dennehy. All right.
A dozen other people.
Rest in peace, Jerry Orbach, and a few others that I'm not going to get into. Film follows an expert, Brown, in the art of special effects with a reputation built on his work. The Department of Justice hires him to stage the murder of a gangster, Jerry Orbach, about to enter witness protection program. He agrees, but then things get complicated. Let me skip along. And by the way, this is just the Wikipedia entry. Okay. Jerry Orbach, Nicholas DeFranco, is set to testify against his former boss. During the preparation, Lipton, that's Brian Brown's character, the FBI agent in charge handles Raleigh's gun. When DeFranco wears Tyler's rig in an Italian restaurant and the public assassination goes flawlessly. Okay, all right, so Raleigh's sent to stage this murder of DeFranco so that the mob will think he's dead.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
When Tyler is picked up by Lipton, the agent tries to shoot him. All right. So I'm going to cut to the chase here a little bit. Raleigh, Tyler, whatever the hell you want to call him, accuses Lipton, the FBI agent, of replacing the blanks in the assassination gun with real bullets, so he really killed DeFranco. The whole world thinks DeFranco is dead, including a New York cop who's looking for Raleigh. Tyler, FBI agent, he's looking for Raleigh. And there's a big fat spoiler now. Squatch, I know you know it. But that scenario is exactly why only 2 people on set are allowed to load, unload, change loads. Now, everybody around them is supposed to be kept aware of what's going on. The producer, the director, the talent, the fucking craft guy, the guy with the roach coach. He's supposed to know, is it a real gun? Is it squibs? Is it blanks? Is it empty? Has it been disassembled? Everybody's supposed to know, but only 2 people are supposed to actually handle the loading process of that gun. And this movie, FX, was an example of why that rule is and why it's so strict.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that a English financed film by an Australian effects agency in LA?
I don't know, maybe.
It's a
I
fantastic.
I, I know I'm crazy, but I can't add to it by saying you're wrong.
I mean, it's a really weird one to bring up as kind of proof. I get why you brought it up. It makes, if you were the type of person to slough the responsibility that's given to you by our founding fathers off onto a subordinate, then fine. But if you want to accept your rights in toto, you have to accept the responsibility that
Okay,
goes with those rights.
let's stay on this. In the film industry, though, those rules are a lot different, aren't they?
They are.
Because they're pointing guns at each other. I mean, there's over 200 real bolt action rifles that were used in the production of the All Quiet on the Western Front movies. But both the 1938 version and the 1992 version, I think. 92? Does that sound right?
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
the
Um,
yeah.
They're pointing real Mausers at, well, Mausers and SMLEs at each other. So that changes a whole lot of the rules really fast. Now you have to slough off some of your responsibilities to the people who are supposed to be keeping everybody out for a couple hours while you're filming, right? That is a very, very different situation. Um, what happened here is somebody didn't pay attention to those rules, and maybe it was just 200ths of a second. You know that they'd been plinking with the gun. The guy who was in charge of the guns, he went to unload it, but he didn't unload it properly. Maybe, I don't know. I'm doing exactly what I get so upset about other people doing, which is speculating about events that I didn't witness. I admit it. This is total hypocrisy on my part. When he went to unload the gun, he didn't unload it properly, and whoever was supposed to be observing him wasn't paying as much attention as apparently she should have been.
Even then, the person with the hands on it, I mean, in order for someone to have been shot by a prop, someone had to have pointed that prop at a person. Even
Yep.
if it is a prop. I mean, I don't know about you. I've been carrying firearms since I could walk. And if I ever pointed a toy gun at someone, I got smacked around.
I would have been, yeah.
Okay, so you see where I'm coming from on this. Now, once you
Yeah.
get in the movie industry, you have a lot of regulations and whatnot that take place that aren't um, involved in real life. That's a different scene, but I still assume you fall back on personal responsibility. Sure, there are people whose job it is to prevent that type of thing from happening. But when it comes down to the circumstance where someone gets shot with another man holding the gun, that is homicide. When they die,
Uh,
that's homicide. That just means unnatural death. I'm not
Homicide.
saying
Okay.
not
Okay.
murder.
We'll move on. Not necessarily murder. Okay.
Right. I'm just simply saying they died due to something beyond natural cause. That's it. Once it's a homicide, you have to ask the question: Who did
Like,
it?
how could this have been prevented?
How could it be? Well, that's not a homicide investigation. They don't pre-crime. They simply look at how someone
No, no,
died,
no, no, no. Nothing about pre-con. Correct.
accidental. The prevention part comes in from the studio. That comes in from the legal beagles that run around trying to sue everybody and their brother. Those are the people
God,
that
those people.
are preventing it from happening in the first
The Arnolds of the world. Moving on.
place.
No, Arnold is a reference to a specific person I met growing up. But anyway, there's actually a reason why the talent is not allowed to check the gun, because they could switch out the blanks for real bullets, and by the time anybody knew, it'd be
And he's
too late. And then it's murder.
right.
And
They steal his
the FX scenario is exactly why only the designated people are supposed to be doing that. And now, I'm going to throw this one out there because I've been waiting for an excuse to say this. The talent should actually be part of that safety team. Whoever's getting shot at should be part of that. Now, apparently this was a rehearsal, and I'm thinking maybe that the camera woman was positioning herself to see, okay, if I have the camera here, what's it going to look like? And they do this. They will actually hold their hands right about like yo, so that they can get kind of an idea of what the shot will look like, right? And so she's standing right here seeing, okay, if the camera's right here and he's holding the gun like that, it's going to look like this. Oh, okay, right? He was told it was a cold gun, so it shouldn't have been loaded at all. Which, I mean, have you ever heard this term, this cold gun term?
Not really. I know that when they were filming, oh, what was the name of that movie? It was called The Dead Gun. I've never heard the term cold gun before in my life. I've heard hot gun. Hand it to you, that's hot. That I've heard. I ain't never heard nobody think. In fact, there's no point in saying cold gun to someone when you hand it to them. You're supposed to check it immediately.
Yeah. I think the situation that was occurring at Rust, she probably wouldn't have been called over because she's just maneuvering around wherever she wants to do whatever she needs to do. But whoever the gun is supposed to be pointed at, like, and I'm going to go back to the Hunt for Red October scenario.
It's a great film.
That was actually a good film. You're right. But anyway, Ryan's sitting there, or Baldwin is lying there, and he's pointing the gun in a direction. Well, no, I'm going to go to the scenario from The Crow. Brandon Lee, he's standing there, and all of these guns are supposed to be pointed at him. Okay, great. I'm just going to stand here and get shot at, right? Because I'm a superhero. Bullets won't bother me. But behind the scenes, because these guns are actually going to be pointed at him, he's going to stand there and watch each round get loaded. I think it's 8 actors who had the guns would have to stand there and watch their gun be loaded. The armorer would have to actually load the gun while the prop master watches the gun get loaded. Or am I getting these names backwards? These titles backwards?
Close enough. I don't know exactly which way it goes. There's a prop master. There's an ordnance master. There's a set coordinator, and the set coordinator, the ordnance master, and the prop master all have to get together on when things go boom.
Okay, great. And you know what? I'm going to toss one more person in there. Now, still, only 2 people touch the gun. Anybody can say, hold up, wait, stop. That looks like a squib round to me. Yeah, so this is squib round gun. No, it's not. That's supposed to be a suicide round, which a suicide round is a lot like a blank, except it's apparently they're loaded with some sort of alcohol-based uh, um, propellant. So it just makes a nice little flash, and that's those shots you see at like 2 or 3 inches away from the camera. Big bright flash, maybe some noise. They can change the noise in post production, but that's it. It's not even really hot air. It's just a little bit of air, and it's not coming out that hard from the barrel, but it is nice, pretty flash.
When we was doing our stage productions back in like high school and stuff, and you're probably going to cringe when you hear this. We would use,
Let me Let me brace myself. Go.
we would use red chalk in compressed air guns. Just a little piece of dust, but it was like powdered chalk.
Hey, George is here. Mr. President, welcome back.
Hey, George.
Actually, I'm not going to cringe that hard. Would you believe that chalk is used for certain types of rounds in the military?
Oh yeah, that's where I got the idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
M240. The only time I ever fired one was on the range. They were chalk rounds.
Right, well, those were actually barrel. This was just powdered chalk in a little compression thing. It was just like you go buy that blue line chalk that you'd put on a chalk line, like that stuff. You can get it in red. And when you're in front of light, there's a whole lot of light around, and you pull the trigger. That first little burst of poof that comes out looks relatively convincing for a 15-year-old grade school project or whatever. It's good enough.
It's good enough, yeah.
And it doesn't take hardly any kind of pressure, so there's almost no danger. We did have one kid who got a little chalk in his eye.
Oh, that hurt my soul.
Yeah, what are you?
He got infected, you said?
No, he just got a little in his eye. He walked around rubbing his eye for a day.
Well, that's also why that character should have been wearing glasses. Moving right along. I shouldn't say things like that, but I do. But yeah, I'm just going to throw it out there. We need to increase the number of people who are on the safety oversight team. And I'm not even going to lie. You asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have really not cared. Even though I know 99% of the guns on a movie set are real. They are real 9mm. They are real AK-47s. There's a movie. It's about the Cold War. A pilot defects to the to Turkey with a MiG, and he lands, and the Turkish soldiers surround the plane. Well, they couldn't find enough fake AK-47s because none of these guns are going to fire. Who cares? As long as they look good on camera, right? It could have been made out of wood and nobody would have noticed. But they couldn't find enough fake AK-47s, so they went out and bought something like 100 real ones because that was cheaper than trying to rent 100 fake ones that weren't even available. They would have had to bring them in from the East Coast, I think it was, or they were filming on the East Coast and they had to bring them in from the West Coast. Why bother with that? Just go out and buy 100 real ones. And you can write it off as part of production cost. So yeah, 99% of them are real anyway.
Even the fake ones that you would think would be fake, like your laser pistols and your sci-fi guns and stuff, or have a real actual projectile firing gun of some type in there, like an
Oh,
RIG gun. Hmm.
could you maybe name an example or two off the top of
Specific,
your head?
the gun that was used by Han Solo, the DL-44, was based off of a oh
Mauser.
was is that what it was? The broom handled Mauser type with the extra wide body on it. I don't remember
Oh,
specifically what
gee, I did not know that.
84 or something like that.
Yeah,
That would be 1880.
with a Russian tank main gun sight bolted onto
Right,
it.
right, to make it look all spacey. Yeah. In
What?
oh, what's the name of the show? Firefly. The
Powerful.
uh,
Oh, yes, great
compa-
example.
the companion carries a Mark IV Remington, I believe. It and they all they did was put a dummy round with a lift sight glued to it in the chamber, and then extend the chamber out so that it couldn't close. There was no way to fire the gun at all
Really?
because it had a dummy round in the chamber that was locking the chamber open, and they put a little plastic clip on the back to make it look all spacey.
They
I have
actually modified that gun?
well, it wasn't permanently modified. It was literally a plastic piece that they popped into the chamber and closed the
Yeah,
actual.
okay.
And they put I think it was a piece off of a vacuum cleaner onto the end of the barrel, so that it looked like it had a little laser sight thingy, a laser doohickey, because it was the Lassiter.
Oh, okay. The Lassiter.
When they stole the
Yeah.
Lassiter, the chick in the trash bin has the original Lassiter, and she has a modern one, and it's a Mark IV Remington, nickel plated.
Um.
To be specific.
Yeah. I do know the Lassiter episode. Well,
I
that went
love
exactly according to plan. You're naked. Well, one little exception.
it. That's
Okay. Okay. So I forgot about that part.
we just stole the most valuable piece of equipment in the galaxy. I'm naked. It worked out.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. There's also an M60 in Hearts of Gold.
Yeah,
That was a
Vera
real M60.
and
No, no,
Vera.
no. The
Is,
M60 that I'm thinking of, at least, was actually being used by the bad guys.
right.
Um, there's uh,
Oh, the
a
chicken, the
revolver that,
chick, the
huh?
dark, the co-captain, the I can't remember her name off the top of my head. The pilot's wife.
Oh yes.
All right, she
Go ahead.
has one of those short shank pistol handled. What is it like a what's it called? Oh, you see them in Red Dead. You see them all over the place nowadays. But she has a
It's a
15.
revolver. Then
It's not a revolver. It's a
it's
lever
not a
action.
revolver.
It's a lever
Oh,
action rifle pistol. She has a cool gun, dude. That thing is awesome. It's a 30 caliber lever action that shoots 5 shots straight out the barrel tube. It's got a magazine under the barrel instead of having a clip or anything like that. It shoots like 8 or 10 shots or something. It's awesome.
Tube magazine. Um, I'm not familiar with this particular firearm. By the way, she was the pilot. Her husband was the engineer.
Oh no, the engineer was the hot chick in the basement. She was the
Oh,
that's Kylie, Ellie, Kylie.
okay.
You had
I'm going to
Kylie.
take a hit on that one.
Oh, dude, I love.
I'm going to take.
You're not going to catch me slipping on that one. Well, I own like
I,
12 copies of it in various versions. I have my own brown coat.
DM Voss says mare's leg, which I think
Yes,
is a
that's right.
reference to the gun you were.
He's correct.
Um,
It was an old style of uh, like a quarter pistol or a quarter rifle or something like that for riding on horses. That way you could draw it from off your saddle.
A carbine.
Lever action, yeah.
Yeah. Well, carbine, it doesn't actually have a very specific. Everything in carbine is, or everything like this is a carbine. I mean, it's not like an assault rifle or a revolver. Carbine is just a generality about barrel length. And you're going to find people that will fucking argue about this until hell freezes over and God dies. I'm not interested in that fight. Okay, I and I know there's a couple channels that I've followed that have tried to pin down what carbine means, and yeah, I've seen them get into fights as well. So whatever. Ah, shit. This is what happens when you start doing something new, folks. You don't know exactly what you're doing, and I just ran out of Gatorade. DM Foss says Mare's legs were created for the TV show The Rifleman.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
This one you see.
I am familiar.
Walk down the street. You remember the opening scene of The Rifleman where he sticks that sawed off 30-30 at his hip? You just my dad's a Rifleman fan, dude. I've seen them all.
Papa Carey would know what you're talking about.
It's a beautiful piece of equipment. It's a work of art. It really is.
Well, take your word for it. Knowing what I know as of this second, I would imagine that the mare's leg was actually a different rifle that they took into a shop somewhere, and they probably cut down the stock. Well, they must have cut the stock down, and probably cut down the barrel. The gun carried by the Terminator in T2 was a very real shotgun that would fire 12-gauge rounds. I'm not aware that they did, not for that film, but that gun's still around somewhere. It's in some studio's armory, waiting for the day when they need to use it again. And all they redid the lever so that Arnie could spin the gun in his hand to reload it. You could do that yourself if you have some not mechanical aptitude, machining aptitude. I don't. Oh, excuse me. That's that's one of the things I've been hearing. Oh, never point a gun at something you're not ready to destroy. Yeah, okay, that would be true for me and Squatch and DM here. Yes, as DM points out, it was a Winchester. Movie industry, they point guns at each other all the time. It's part of the story. I mean, are you going to tell All Quiet on the Western Front without people pointing guns at each other? Hey, Squatch, how well do you think that would work out?
One of them. That's a
how well do you think it? Huh?
That's a mayor's leg.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can full screen you. No, I don't. There we go. Oh shit!
Yep.
I think that's the one that they resurrected for. You said it's a 30 caliber.
It's like a 30-30 or 30 caliber, something like that. It's a medium-sized round with a long brass.
Okay, well, that lever ring thingy was the same kind of ring that they put on the Terminator's gun.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool 50s when you're
okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can boomer my way through this shit. No, exit. Hey, I did it. I did something right.
I'm
Brace
proud.
yourselves, folks. Yeah.
We're gonna be dangerous. Oh,
So, Squatch, do
yes,
you
sir.
think you could do? Do you think you could do the All Quiet on the front, Western Front without people pointing guns at each other?
Oh, hell no.
How about Platoon? Could you remake Platoon without people pointing guns at each other?
I mean, given that there are a few actual gun-threatening scenes in that movie, like where they literally stick guns to people's body, no, there's no way to do that movie. It wouldn't have the same edge.
Okay, but one of the most critical scenes, the when Barnes murders the woman in the village, there's no way you could get around that.
No.
I mean, yeah, no. Um, the film shit. It's based on the Short Timers. Full Metal Jacket.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have two people very pointedly pointing guns at each other. One's a 12-year-old girl with an AK-47, and the other's Matthew Modine with an M16 that jammed, and then a 1911. And then around the corner comes.
That's not even the scene that would be an issue of trying to reshoot. We could do that. It would just take a little bit of that angular movie magic. The bathroom scene would be possible.
Joker suicide would not be, and that was probably a suicide. Wow.
Wasn't Joker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Help me out here.
Billy
Pyle.
Bob. Yeah, Pyle, Gomer Pyle. Not Gomer, but
Gomer Pyle.
Always say that. Always do that.
Recruit terrible. Leonard. His suicide scene. What they probably used for that scene was either nothing at all, which can be done, or a. I hate to say this, but a suicide round.
I think might have been tasting some gun oil. I don't want to go too far down that road.
Yeah.
He was certain. That was Billy Bob. Who was that? Not Billy Bob. Which one is it? The guy who played Powell.
He played Detective Gorin in Law and Order.
I hate Google.
Sorry. I guess. He was also in Men in Black, the first one. Shit, I can't remember his name either.
Vincent
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, him. You couldn't do that scene without somebody pointing a gun actually at himself. So maybe we need to work on that logic a little bit. But either way, one of the things I keep hearing is people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be using real guns on set." They do that all the time.
That's got Jane in it. That's another movie that's got Jane in it that you probably didn't realize it. From Firefly, Adam Baldwin.
Oh yes,
plays Adam
Baldwin. Thank you. Animal Motherfucker is the one that comes around the corner and
Yeah,
blows the little girl away.
that's right. Because why take the risk?
And flag on the play, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Baldwin is not one of the Baldwin brothers.
Mm-mm. Well,
he's no relation to Alec or the rest, which is why he is so very very different from not his four brothers. The Jane character and Animal Mother are a whole lot more like the real Adam Baldwin than some people realize.
I honestly feel like that I could go out, sit down, and have a beer with that man. I do not feel like I could do that with any of the other ones. I just
Personally, I don't think I'd like him. But then again, I don't like anybody, so that's not a fair assessment.
I hate everyone equally.
Fuck all y'all.
Exactly. Amen, brother. Pass that on there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is still my good behavior. I haven't said that somebody should permanently solve a temporary problem yet. Not on the channel, anyway. Wow, yeah, a little spicy there. They obviously they need to go back and first of all find out what the fuck happened down at the ranch, because there's actually no excuse for why this happened.
It really isn't.
And they need to figure out what do they need to do to make sure this doesn't happen now. Like I said, my idea would be that everybody who's actually, whoever's going to be handling the gun, whoever's going to have the gun pointed at them, and literally anybody else basically who wants to can stand there and watch it be loaded. And no reusing anything. One of the things I really thought of, this is a question I really would like to see asked. Is it possible they reloaded around?
I would like to think not.
You would like to think not.
I mean,
You would. So would I. I would love to think they wouldn't reload for something that has to be exactly right each and every fucking time.
that's Inara's gun from Firefly.
Hold up.
Mark IV. A Ruger Mark IV. My bad. That is a beautiful.
Oh, that's a 22.
Mm-hmm. I had the bull barrel version, the target barrel.
Uh-huh.
They've got a little like a flash suppressor from like a Chatteralt or something on it. I don't know what that is. Like a piece of flashlight or something.
It looks like actually it looks like one of the cartridges off my Green Safe Smart.
It could be something like that. I'll tell you what I want. This is probably the singular most beautiful weapon I have ever laid my eyes on, and that's saying something. I've seen a lot. Let me find this booger. I believe.
See, I'm
22s.
I'm strictly a pragmatist. All right, which is why, and DM's about to trip offline here, which is the reason why right now I like blocks. In 10 years, I'm going to hate them. I'm also going to have like 3 or 4 of them, and I won't be able to do anything with them. All right.
That is a Wolverine. It is probably my favorite gun from any period of history. It is absolutely beautiful.
That's great. It's also kind of off topic. Okay.
I'm
Whoa,
sorry.
wait.
Beautiful pieces of equipment I've ever seen or put my hands on. It's just a glorious piece.
Hold up. DM Foss said Scott Prop and Roll on YouTube is a prop master. He did a video on what protocols are and what was done wrong. Maybe I will entertain the informed speculation of a prop master. I should probably entertain the informed speculation of a prop master. I will go check that out. Voss, if you could drop that link into the description, I'd appreciate it. If I'd known about that yesterday or the day before, I probably would have went and checked it out. Edit. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. So obviously something went wrong down in Arizona, though. I mean, we can all agree to that. One of the things that's been pissing me off, and when I say pissing me off, I mean actually fucking pissing me off, is people that literally have no clue what they're talking about. Saying, well, it was this, well, it was that, well, it was absolutely something else. And the one that really tripped me offline, that was just this morning. Somebody said Alec Baldwin committed murder.
No.
Whoa, ho. Stop everything right there, bud. Do you even know the words you're fucking using? Because I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the chat, if he isn't already. You're accusing him of murder? No! Now, this attitude that has been in the industry, and it's not just Hollywood, the stage industry, the film industry, the television industry, all of them, all of the visual media industries, and I'm throwing fucking American Heroes channel under the bus too here, that only the two people who are part of the loading process do anything in the process. It clearly has not worked. Something went wrong. What day was it? Was that Monday?
I don't know exactly.
Okay, we're just gonna say something went wrong down in Arizona, and no, we need to go back and check this, because that was a huge. And the worst part is, this is not the first incident. This is just the worst incident since The Crow. With The Crow, what happened was they were supposed to, if I understand correctly, they were supposed to put suicide rounds into one of the MAC 10s for one of the gangsters who was sitting right basically underneath Brandon. Then they put squib rounds in by mistake. Uh-oh.
Under the impression that, and I can't remember where I read this, but that they had a, what I was told was a prop malfunction. That one of the, what do you call them, suicide rounds?
Yeah.
Is that a fully functional blank or fully functional bullet?
No. If a suicide round is operating correctly, absolutely nothing comes up. Well, a little puff of air.
Right. Okay.
When I pull on this thing, it's more air coming out than should be coming out of a MAC 10 with suicide round.
What I was told was the round that was used, the brass separated, and it pulled the ring off the back of it, the primer out of the back, and ejected it. Didn't eject the brass, so when the next round went in, it became the projectile.
Oh dear.
That's the MAC 10 slip with Brandon Lee. That was the diagram that was drawn for me. I don't know if he knew what the hell he was talking about. That's what he said.
No,
It sounds legit.
I do. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to go with a good enough source for now. It is Wikipedia, and so take it with a big fat grain of salt. 31 March 1993, Lee was filming a scene where his character is shot after witnessing actor Michael Massey's character, Funboy, fires a .44 caliber revolver as he walks into the room. A previous scene using the same gun called for an inert dummy cartridge fitted with bullets, but no powder or primer to be loaded in the revolver. For close-up scenes that use the revolver where the bullet is clearly visible from the front and do not require the gun to actually be fired, dummy cartridges provide a more realistic appearance than blank rounds. Okay, so they took an empty shell casing, they put a shot in it, all right, and I don't actually have any around here. That can be done, and you do have an inert gun. That would be very similar to a snap cap, a painted snap cap. The film's prop crew, hampered by time constraints.
And that's where they're going to lay the blame.
I just stopped right there. The moment I saw the words hampered by time constraints, I knew something was wrong. Created their own by pulling the bullets from live rounds, dumping the powder cartridge, then reinserting the bullets. However, they unknowingly left the live primer in place at the rear of the cartridge. At some point during filming, the revolver had apparently discharged with one of these improperly deactivated cartridges in the chamber, setting off the primer with enough force to drive the bullet partway in the barrel. Oh my God. Did it get worse? And then the prop crew failed to notice or failed to recognize the significance of the issue. So you're right, the squib round was caught in the barrel, and you put anything behind that, and it's not going to be a squib round for much longer.
Yeah, it's suddenly an actual firearm.
Yeah, now it's I'm not even sure if you put a suicide round in there, if that would be
safe,
weak enough for the bullet to not come out. I mean, it's not like they come up with this shit. One day somebody wakes up and says, oh, hey, I think I could come up with a bullet that doesn't put anything out of the barrel. It just makes a big, pretty flash, but the gun will still operate as if it's supposed to, right? They have actual engineers who sit down and figure this shit out. Thank you, Voss. Scott talks about the rounds used for those kinds of scenes. I'm going to check that video out. I wish I'd known about this video existing about 2 hours ago. Well, 2 days ago. So yeah, you're right. That's exactly what happened. There was an obstruction in the barrel, an empty bullet, or a bullet from a previous scene, and you put anything behind that, and somebody's going to get hurt. And yep, it's pretty much exactly what happened. But this is also the first incident since 1993. Now, I can tell you I've had at least 2 incidents since then. One was my fucking belt-fed bolt-action rifle. Bolt-action machine gun. I can't say those words and not get angry. And the other was a malfunction on an M2. Ironically enough, the M203, that worked fine. The M16s, all of mine have operated exactly perfectly. I only know of one incident where things were not perfect, but that was strictly operator error and not mine. Um, Hell, I've even seen a couple of guns misfire. Um, well, yeah, a couple of mine due to bad ammo. Um, but out of how many films come out every year with guns in them?
I don't know.
Anybody? Anybody? Um, just before the pandemic hit, I went to go see The Hunt, and I mean, there is a particular shot where one guy is firing two guns at the same time. So I guess there must be at least a few dozen a year, and we've had one very serious accident. I would be inclined to say that they're doing most of it right, but this is pretty telling evidence that they need to go back and rethink a few things. Um, and very, very telling is the fact that the crew walked off the set 2 days before this accident because of safety issues. And I'm really, really thinking that what happened was they'd gone plinking with a gun that was, going to be on set. And the crew said, no, you're not allowed to do that. No, we're fine. We're fine. No, you're really not allowed to do that. No, we're fine. We're fine. No, we're out of here. You're not allowed to do that. And that should have been a huge red flag right there.
Have you seen the prop master?
Uh,
Have you seen her?
no.
Okay, hold on.
Is this a movie or is this a person? Clue me in.
Prop master in this question. The individual responsible for that gun, the person that people are wanting to hang this on.
Okay. All right. I've never seen her. I don't know her name. I haven't seen a photograph of her, but I have heard something very interesting about her. She's been in the gun industry since she was 10 years old.
Yeah, she's third generation prop person. I mean, she knows her stuff. There's no excuse for any of this. That is Alec Baldwin's fault. He is a inexperienced gun handler. She is experienced. They're trying to hang it on her. She has, to my knowledge, she's never had another issue like this.
Well, she's only had one. She's only had one other film where she was lead.
Where she was lead, but she has worked in that industry with her father for the past 20 some odd years, 15 years.
15 years. Closer to 50. But yeah, she's been in the gun industry since she was 10. She's 25 now. 24, 25, something like that. I would think that she would have some clue of what she's doing. And worse still is this is also not her first rodeo. As an assistant, nowhere near, and as lead, this isn't even her first rodeo. And yet, it could be her that made the mistake. It really is as simple as that. An hour and 18 minutes. Okay. So yeah, they need to. As sorry. One of my chiefs used to say, they need to get their shit in one sock. Figure out what the hell happened.
Sock check.
Huh?
I said sock check.
Sock check?
Yeah, make sure you got all your shit together.
Okay. Want to move on to the next. Well, we're going to know that.
Armor on set of Rush, where Baldwin killed cinematographer pictured at her home. That's her.
Okay. All right. Okay. It is what it is.
It's exactly what it is. But I firmly believe that woman has the skills for the job. From that point past her, I can't tell you. She's been in this business for years. She's young, but she has some experience behind her. She was the
You
one that was out seeing the people that were supposed to when they were out doing the like the pre-shoot or whatever, and they're out plinking. That's what she was doing. Supposedly was doing safety runs with the rest of the crew and stuff.
you
Good job.
know, the truth of the matter is she has more time in the gun industry than I do.
How about that?
I, anybody that wants to fight me on this subject, um, well, the closest to a start date I can give you would be somewhere around January 2005. Okay, so that'd be 16 years. But that was when Brent broke me of the idea of gun control being ever going to work. Right? Mandatory carry comes along in 2014, ladies and gentlemen. This has only been around since 2014, and the channel has only been, 2 years, I guess? Yeah, about 2 years.
So I came across pretty early in all that, didn't I?
Say again?
I came across you pretty early in all that. About a year.
I would. No, closer to about 6-8 months, maybe 8 months. I want to say on Daisy's channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. I really do want to move on to the next subject because from bad news to good. Oh, Squatch, you know what the next subject is?
I do not. Surprise me.
You didn't check the description. Kyle Rittenhouse got a huge victory in court. You want to tell him?
I didn't read it.
Oh, okay.
I had a third party who just spouted it all into my ear, and I didn't get around to actually reading it. Or if you have a source, I can bring it up for you.
I should have kept that in. I should have kept that tab open. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with what I do have. First of all, the prosecution cannot refer to the 3 men who were killed. Excuse me. 2 men who were killed and the third man who was injured as victims. He is forbidden to refer to them as victims. Ooh, that's going to burn, isn't it? Because now you don't have a victim to put in front of your jury.
That's right.
But it gets worse. The defense can refer to them as rioters and looters. I believe it was looters. I don't remember seeing that the judge allowed them to refer to them as terrorists. But rioters, definitely, I'm pretty sure looters was the other one. Now, what you have is a defendant sitting in front of the jury who's accusing the people who are accusing him. So, he's saying, I might be the defendant, but they're the criminals. That's got to hurt. That has got to gall that DA no end. Now, the victim is the one on trial, and the perpetrators are the accusers. Oh, what do you think? DA going to drop this case?
You better. He should.
You know, if she was wise, she would never. It wouldn't even be at this point. But it is at this point. So I got a feeling that a whole lot of ego is driving the prosecution here. You're not going to tell me what kind of cases I'm going to prosecute. I'm telling you what kind of cases I'm going to prosecute. And if you don't like it, well, I'm still a DA. I can still come after you, too. And now the judge said, you might be the DA, but I'm still the judge. So, yeah, a little bit of good news for this week. I got that, ironically enough, because I contributed to the Rittenhouse Defense Fund. But I'm sure my $10 total may be paid for 3 words of word processing by one of the attorneys. You know who doesn't have a successful defense fund? Take a guess. Take a guess.
The rioters?
The guy who got shot.
Well, they call him a rioter.
And survived.
The
guy who got shot and survived does not have a successful legal fund. I'm just saying, you know. Ow. Damn. Excuse me. This actually was a really good ruling for him, because now everything is everything is basically going the other way around now. Up until now, he was absolutely the bad guy, the evil person who murders little puppies murders little puppies or kicks dogs, breaks, takes old ladies' social security checks. And now all of a sudden, no, he's not the one who kicks dogs and murders puppies and takes little old ladies' social security checks. He's the one who stopped the guys who do all those horrible things.
That is correct.
Little known fact is that the day before he was there, what he was down there for was to protect his uncle's car lot. The day before, about half of the cars or a third of the cars, something like that, had been torched by BLM protesters. Protesters typically don't torch cars. I don't see how that's really necessary to protest, but okay. He comes down and they're talking about, well, he crossed state lines. Well, yeah.
Perfectly legal.
Well, yeah, I cross state lines all the fucking time. I go from Nevada to California twice a week to go to a particular store because they got these things. The stores around here do not. So I got to go across state lines to get these and then come back home. I'm just wondering, when I was, there's a particular state I was in where if I rolled out of the rack the wrong direction, I would cross state lines. I'm not even kidding. The property boundary was the state line. And by the way, there was no fence on part of that property boundary. There's a little gully. The fence goes up to about here, and then at the gully, there's no fence line. I don't know why they didn't do that. Um, and I was specifically told not to put fencing up there. Also, I don't know why, but okay. Um, you could go from Montana to Wyoming. Um, just go, walk 100 feet from my house at the time, and you're in the next state over.
I don't know. I don't cross, but I'm in the middle of my state. I really don't cross state lines very often. When I do, it's typically to South Carolina, and we don't take left turns on or right turns on red in South Carolina. Don't do that.
I've heard a rumor about this
Don't roll stop
from
signs. Make sure you
from a
stop.
certain sky troll.
Click 3 times when you put on your blinker. Click, click, click. Anything less, they will blue light you and light you up, son.
Yeah, I heard that rumor from a certain sky troll.
Oh, they don't play. They don't play at all.
See, I do pay some attention. Um, hey, here's a thought. Don't go to South Carolina.
That's where my beach house is. I'm going, bro. You can't stop me.
Okay, I get it.
I'll just learn not to take right turns in South Carolina. Left turns
Go
everywhere.
straight.
Right?
Wait, left or right? Um,
Right
the
turns
funny thing.
on red. Or
Yeah, I know. Funny thing is, where I grew up, there used to be two signs within about 100 feet of each other. They said left turn on red, okay after stop.
that
There's
Texas?
no California.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Believe
There's
it.
a few open spots in California too. In Texas, you can
Um,
come to a full stop at a red light, and if there's nothing coming or going or happening, just go on through, man.
really,
In some
I
parts of
did not
Texas.
know that.
Also, in
Um,
East Texas, I know this for a fact. In Eastern Texas, some of your longer roads between cities don't have a speed limit.
I did not know that either.
Road. I went through there at about 140.
Um, this one particular street, there's a few towns in California that have this. This one particular street, we'll just call it the city of A, had one continuous highway through the city, and coming into that highway were two terminating highways. So capital T type intersections within about 100 feet of each other. So those lights were typically kept green for the continuous highway and red for the cross streets. Well, yeah, you got to stop for a red light there and sit there until it decides to change. The city said, no, 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 we're going to go ahead and let people make the left turn on red. At some point, and I was there about a month ago now. I need to go back. But about a month ago, I was there. They had straightened it out. They had ripped out the old city yard, replaced it with the new city hall. So they closed one of the cross streets and made it one continuous cross street through what had at one time been the city yard. Now it's a four-way controlled intersection. Well, actually, that's a huge improvement. I also seen one of those signs up in Oregon, but that was years ago.
Hmm.
But anyway, so I'm thinking that by this time next week, the charges against Rittenhouse will have been cleared. What do you think? Or dropped, rather.
I think
What
they're
do you
gonna
think?
find out. They're gonna push it all the way as long as they possibly can. They really want a gun, uh, a murderous, negative, right wing president in the news before we get to our midterms.
Okay. If it were just a gun charge, they could actually go after the guy who survived the shooting.
Yeah, he had a
It is
pistol,
unequivocal. Yeah, it is unequivocal. He had a gun. There is a photograph of him holding the gun in the arm that was destroyed.
which is why Kyle shot
And
the arm.
say again?
Which is why Kyle Shardy shot him in that arm. He shot the arm that had the offensive weapon in it. Now I don't know if he thought it through, but he saw a gun and shot it, destroyed
I
that.
think he was going for. I think he was going for a center of mass shot, and he just happened to catch the guy in the arm instead.
Lucky
That
shot.
happens.
All that one too. That's fine.
Um, and you know what? It was a justifiable shooting. This is the part that's got so many people confused. Is if you reversed uh, their political leanings, if this had been, if Kyle had been a BLM member, and whatever the fuck his name was had come running up to him with the gun, it would have. Kyle would be the one who is not going to prison under any circumstances. Okay. Yeah. And that has been documented as a real thing. Now, if you took all the everything else out of it, all the political bullshit out of it, what would you have?
Let's see. You have two individuals in the street, both armed. One offensive,
Not in the
one
street.
well in a parking lot. What was it? A sidewalk.
A car
A
lot.
riot went on in the street. A parking lot, right?
You would have had a car lot.
Car lot. Okay.
Yeah. New car lot. You would have had a 16-year-old kid in a car protecting his family's business in a car lot, his uncle's business, a car lot, and three individuals with guns trying to rob the place.
And why isn't that the end of that conversation?
I don't know.
That should be the end of it. So you've got
That should have been the end of it.
one person who has a right to be there, one person who does not. Both of them armed, and one of them ended up shot, and it happens to be the one that was not supposed to be there. That seems perfectly legit to me.
Ironically enough, I addressed that in Dataslav. Any person in a place they have a right to be engaged in a business that are engaged in an activity they have a right to be engaged in has no duty to retreat. It's literally duty to retreat section. I remember I did not base it on what happened in Wisconsin last year. I actually based it on something that happened years before that. And
I don't
actually,
that duty to
I
retreat.
prosecute.
I'm
No,
gonna stand
well,
around, hey, brother. I'm gonna stand right here and riddle you with holes when you come through my doorway.
yeah.
Do not. Doubt
I gotta break a confidence a little bit, so I'm gonna break it carefully. I was made aware of a case out of San Francisco from the 1980s or early 90s. A man broke into a woman's house. She shot and killed him. She was prosecuted for having the gun, period. End of discussion. She didn't actually have it illegally. She had a gun, and the intruder ended up very, very dead. Flash forward several years, and she's trying to get on with her life again after having been released from prison. And certain individuals were trying to make her getting on with her life after a wrongful prosecution.
Impossible.
Oh, no, quite the opposite. They were trying to make her getting on with her life difficult, impossible. They were making demands of certain other individuals who happened to be. She was trying to get a license to do something. And to get that license, she had to go through a background check. As part of the background check, she had to declare her entire criminal history. She declared her criminal history. Her criminal history, which included the shooting and her conviction. And my friend who was handling the paperwork to process this license was being told that you will deny her. And he said, why? And they said, well, because she used a gun. And he said, if she had used a stick and he ended up dead, would that be different? They said yes. If she had used a stick and he ended up dead, we wouldn't have this problem, but she used a gun, and that's a problem. And he said, okay, fine, you do what you got to do, but I'm not signing it. He's not signing the denial letter. And a week later, they said, you know what? We couldn't get our agent to sign off on the denial letter. That's going to make our case very, very difficult. So we'll go ahead and approve it. She was allowed to get on with the rest of her life because one person stood up and said, no. You don't get to profit from an already illegal prosecution. But that case really, really got stuck in it's still stuck in my craw that they were denying her. So no, there's no duty to retreat now. I specifically made it illegal to require people. It's not illegal to retreat if you choose to do so.
I would give Ian any chance he's willing to take. But as far as leaving my home because a intruder has entered, no. I will cut him down. But here, acceptable.
Yeah, well, somebody who's... You want the real or you want the legalese?
Well, if you're going for legalese, remember that I am in Georgia.
Okay, so I'm not going to go with the legalese because that'll change each and every state. Thank you for pointing out. Here's the real. When somebody has made a decision that they are going to break into your home, they have also made a decision that they are going into a potential trap that they cannot get out of. They're climbing into a box. They don't know if they can get out of it or not if something does go wrong. When you're backed into a corner, you're going to fight. And the guy who's broken into your house, he's put himself into this trap. How do you know he's not going to kill you to get out of the trap of his own making? And that used to be the doctrine in most of the states. I'm sure you can name one that I don't know of, where they will always attempt to escape first. No, because they can't always escape. They put themselves in this situation that they may not be able to get out of without violence, without killing somebody. So now you're in the trap with them. They have made your house into a cage match.
And I know where all the
What
toys
are you going to do now? Huh?
I know where the toys are. There's only one
Oh
direction
well,
at that point.
yeah. Actually, you know what? They have put themselves in your steel cage, so it's it is an unfair fight, but it's an unfair fight they chose to start, not you. You were inside your cage. It's like the sign that's going to be on my door someday. Warning: the lock on this door is for your protection.
Yeah, I like that. That should be on a
Yeah.
T-shirt or something. Door hanger. Do not
No.
disturb.
There was a state that I was in, uh, Montana, um, where if you had guns in the house and they were not locked up or some sort of weird ass rule, um, you actually had to declare to somebody coming in that yes, there are guns in here, and you will be shot.
I ain't declaring shit to nobody.
Well, um, be that as it may, you had to make some sort of declaration. Hey, I have a gun. Now, the declaration might be they get in the door or the window. You yell out, "Hey, I got a gun. You better leave now."
You're supposed to get a shotgun and shoot a warning shot. That's what the president said.
Yo, don't
He
start me
says
up on that. Don't start me up on this. Don't start me up on this.
Yes, sir. I'll stop.
Well, I'll come back to that in a minute. Anyway, you have to make a declaration of your intent to use lethal force. Well, my plan was to put a sign up on the door that said, "Warning: the lock on this door is for your protection, not mine."
I have a sign outside that says the dog is okay, but the owner's an asshole. Does that count?
Um, no, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have counted. Um,
God.
yeah, no. Sorry. No, it's got to be a specific intention to use the lethal force.
Well, then I'll put a
Okay.
sign that says that.
Since a certain asshole brought the subject up and not me this time. Um,
Ooh, I'm ashamed.
yes. Well, you should be. The guess what the number one song on iTunes is?
I'm not even going to say it on your channel, man. I don't want them to strike you for it.
Stand by. I'll say it myself, but
Sure.
I want to get the pronunciation of the other guy's name correct. You can almost hear me typing it out. I will always say it wrong if I don't have the name in front of me. Let's Go Brandon by Bryson Gray and Chandler Crump is number one on iTunes right now.
And it's a catchy tune.
I've only heard it once.
And you can still bump to it. Yeah.
Really? Good to know. Yeah. It gives me warm fuzzies. Especially since how it all started. I would not, under normal circumstances, say, "Let's go, Brandon." But in this case, A, it's a direct quote, and B, I get to be a little bit sardonic because that's the way I am. Normally, I would just say, "Fuck Joe Biden." Is that good for a strike?
I haven't gotten one.
Oh.
I haven't heard of anyone getting one for just saying the FJB. But I'm a new channel. Not trying to step on too many toes if I can help it.
Yeah, it's well, I'll come back to that someday. Chandler actually that had that video up on his channel. The video got taken down, and his channel got a strike for it.
Mm.
Yeah, actually, they break the head up during the song too. Oh, so that's gonna hurt. I'm gonna do something real quick because it's my channel. I can do whatever the fuck I want, right?
Exactly.
Well, no, but not really. But okay, here we go. 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 Copy link. Paste. Back. Pretty sure it's back one more. Ha! Fuck you, YouTube. Love you, Susan.
I welcome our robot overlords and hope to serve honorably.
Say again?
I welcome our robot overlords and hope to serve honorably.
Yeah. I'm gonna go full on Muad'Dib.
Touche. I might join you on that one.
Yes. I hope we can all still be friends when we're in FEMA camps. Yeah, I got other plans.
I got other plans.
Well, I have dinner plans. Most people would not even get that reference either. Dinner, they get the I have other plans, but dinner plans? What?
Comes to it. I certainly have plans.
Yeah. Say again?
I certainly have plans for dinner. I plan to eat it.
That too. No, I there's some lines I know I can't cross. But suffice it to say, you don't want to join me for dinner. Never mind. Because I know she's supposed to be watching. Fixed Bayonets knows exactly what I'm saying. And she's asking me to shut up. So, okay, I will. Yes, dear. All right, I've been going for about an hour and 53 minutes. So,
You got a pretty good show going.
yeah, this one's this one's actually average. I mean, this is only the second time I've done it on a Wednesday. So, I have still not too much clue what I'm trying to do here. Although I do know that I'm really, really getting pissed with some people talking shit about a subject that they should be not talking about at all. Although the investigation, apparently the sheriff's office did bring out the some sort of statement today. I'm got to go see it. Have you seen that yet?
I have not.
Oh, I've got to find out. Huh?
I don't do the news.
Oh, well. I used to be absolute news addict. Like, I had HLN on basically 24/7 when I was in Sacramento. Oh, no. I would switch over to History Channel eventually. But yeah. And I couldn't get enough of it in Sacramento. World was a little bit different back then too, though. I mean, the news media reported actual news and not just propaganda.
Propaganda.
Uganda. Oh.
I'll stop. I'm sorry. I'll see
Thank
myself
you.
out.
One of my coworkers today said, "Hey, we're getting a new guy tomorrow." Oh, yeah, Brandon. I asked him if he was trying to set my PTSD off, and he said yes.
I'd like that guy.
Are you trying to set my PTSD off? Yeah. Is it working? Yeah.
Awesome. I approve.
And the worst part is, apparently, only him and I got the joke of everybody that we work with.
I I had that video that DM Foster
Oh yeah,
talking about.
you have it.
Yeah, it's on my screen right here. That's the dude.
All right.
That big channel. If you want to watch it, I'll play it. If you would rather not, it is a new video. I'm not sure how that works. But,
How long is it?
2 minutes and let's see. Where's it?
Let's play it at 1.5. Let's play it at 1.5.
All right.
I'm going to mute myself.
On the incident on the set of the movie Rust. And I've been a little hesitant because I didn't want to make speculations. There wasn't much information, and I really wanted some more information to come out. Now there have been some court documents released, and I believe I can discuss the protocols that were breached, which led to the firearm killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injuring director Joel Souza. For starters, my heart goes out to the Hutchins family, Joel Souza, and the entire crew. So one thing that's bugging me from all the articles is they keep talking about a misfire. A misfire 3 days before the incident. The incident was a misfire. Well, a misfire is when a gun doesn't fire. If what actually happened would be accidental discharge. First and foremost, most important protocol is no live ammo on the set. No live rounds. A live round is a cartridge with a slug in it, a bullet that can kill someone. It appears that rule was breached. And next, once you have your cart set up with your guns, you do not leave it unattended. You always have someone with their eyes on it from your department. From what I've read, the first assistant director walked outside of the set to the weapons cart and grabbed one of 3 weapons that were sitting there on a cart that was unattended. That's a breach. And the next breach in protocol is the first AD grabbing a gun. No one should grab a gun except the armor or the prop master. They were using Western revolvers. And when we do that, we use real revolvers. And we use blanks for when there's gunfire. And then we use dummy rounds. You shake them, there are BBs inside where black powder normally would be. It's my understanding that it was a close-up on Alec Baldwin's revolver as he pulls it out of his holster and cocks it as he's pointing it at the camera. And since the camera's looking right down the barrel of the revolver, you've got to have dummy bullets in the cylinder. And if you're following protocol, you would take your dummy rounds into the set with an empty gun. You go to the first assistant director, clear the gun first. You run a rod through the barrel to where they see the orange tip come out the other end of the barrel. They know that it's clear. Then you show them all the cylinder holes. They're empty. The gun is clear. Hand the dummy rounds to the assistant director, and he shakes each one. He hears the BBs, hands you a round. You put it in the gun the same way for all 6. It's ultimately on the first assistant director to confirm that that gun is safe. But none of that happened. The first AD grabbed the gun off the cart, goes inside, hands it to Alec Baldwin, and says, "Cold gun." And unfortunately, you probably know the rest. And again, my heart goes out to everyone involved in this tragedy.
That's scary.
Okay, so that's a little bit of information I did not have even 5 minutes ago. Apparently, shaking the gun was a thing. Now, I remember somebody saying, "Oh, you're supposed to shake the gun."
Not the gun, the round. The individual
Shake the
round.
All right. Well, if this is a quote cowboy gun, then it should be a muzzle loader. And so, what are you shaking? Yeah. Well, yeah. That doesn't say much. Actually, I addressed that yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I
yeah,
borrowed one of
dummy gun. He says what dummy round. Then he says it was a raw revolver, and he says that you shove the thing through the barrel to see it come out, and then show all empty cylinders. That's a revolver.
Yeah. Because actually, I guess it was Sunday because I borrowed one of Papa Carey's two actually apothecaries guns. Two revolvers. One's modern and one's black powder. Um, to address the difference between the two types. It could have been a conversion. There are black powder pistols that would be muzzle load that were later on converted to use metallic cartridge. It would strike me as strange unless that's an industry standard for safety reasons. But hey, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. Shaking the bullet apparently was a thing, or is a thing. It's not going to be a thing anymore, I think. They're gonna be taking some new precautions. An easy one that I can think of is color code the shell casings. A real looking shell casing is obviously.
Then you have the
What?
problem. That's no good. There's no way that would actually work in practice, because you would have the problem of color coded casings being inappropriately loaded or
Would be inappropriately what?
inappropriately colored.
Okay.
Good and well, somebody will trust that blue case or green case or whatever instead of
Okay.
picking.
You lost me here.
All right. If you want to
What?
color code the bullets,
Uh-huh.
then you have the problem of people trusting the colors.
Well,
And you can't trust anyone else when handling a firearm. You have to check for yourself. It's the only safe way.
Yeah, well, that goes back to the FX scenario. Let's just work with me here. The armor and the prop master have loaded the gun, and they have agreed that this bullet, which is the shell casing, is green, which means a squib round, which means a little bit of paper, I think it is, will come out of the barrel, but it won't go very far before it disintegrates, is supposed to be in this gun. And now Alec gets the gun, and he's checking the load, and he swaps out one of his squib rounds for a real full metal cartridge that doesn't look in any way different from something you just picked up off the shelf at Wally World or wherever it was you picked it up from. Okay, now you have a gun whose condition has been changed. And by the time anybody knows, it's too late. Maybe it wasn't Alec that changed it. Maybe it was the producer who shouldn't have touched the gun, by the way. Maybe it was somebody else that does it. Now, in the FX scenario, it was a very, very corrupt FBI agent who wanted to make it look like this was a real assassination so that his buddy, the soon-to-be former mobster, can look like he's really dead, even though he's... But as spoiler, he's not dead. It's a very, very interestingly staged assassination. It's a million other things. I'm not sure how color coding the shell casings is a problem, though.
Not a problem. Well, the issue is anytime you add a safety feature, people take advantage of that safety feature and assume that the safety feature is safe.
Uh-huh.
That is not the case.
Like a seatbelt?
Like a seatbelt. Okay, well, I can drive faster because I'm wearing a seatbelt. No. When you're dealing with color coding, you have some people that don't see colors properly. You have some people that never see their colors properly. Okay,
that's a legitimate question. I I think we could address that somehow. Not necessarily one we could hash out here.
No.
Yeah. Actually, something just occurred to me on that note. When I was in the Guard, we had a type of search and rescue abandoned ship flare. It was the Mark 17, I think it was, flare. Mark 7 flare. One end was the nighttime flare, and all it did was put out about 6 inches of just pure red flame. And you can see that thing for like 100 miles if you know the general direction to look in. The night end of that, the day end was perfectly smooth. The night end had 2 raised ribs. You could feel those, even if your hand was frozen, like hyperthermically frozen. You run your thumb along those ribs, and your body will know which end is the night end. That's pretty impressive ribbing. And then you could, at least in theory, still light off the night flare. I'm just wondering if you could do some sort of ribbing type function to indicate the type of the round, like one vertical rib that goes all the way around tells you that this is a squib round. 2 vertical ribs that go all the way around tells you that this is a suicide round. No ribs at all, obviously, is a real bullet, because you wouldn't put ribs on a real bullet. It would not work at any level. What else? We got one more type of ammo at play here. I forgot what it was.
Sorry, I was looking for your Mark 7 flare.
Oh, yeah. Google U.S. Coast Guard day-night flare. Or USCG day-night flare. I want to say the other one was a blank. Basic blank. Maybe a long rib. And the worst case scenario is you put one of these into a rail gun. You cock the hammer, you pull the trigger. The shell casing will expand around the rib area. Okay, well, you'll destroy the shell casing in the process, but it shouldn't damage the gun. It should just really, really piss off the armorer trying to remove this bullet, this shell casing rather, because it might distort in weird ways. But yeah, that's about it. It would be just like putting a 223 into a 5.56 shell firing chamber. 5.56 firing chamber is just a slight bit wider, so that 223 shell casing has to expand, or can expand in a slightly larger firing chamber. But it's never been a problem in the past. I'm wondering if that might be a solution. And is the viewer going to know? No, Squatch, I'm asking.
I haven't. Well, I'll be honest. Most people don't know that.
You broke up. Most people don't know the
muzzle flash and the difference between a muzzle flash and a powder, right? So you can
yeah, that's true. But more to the point, you can't see the shell casing in the firing chamber anyway. Hell, I can't see the shell casing in the firing chamber. I can only see
there and do the rest in post.
Yeah. And
No.
depending on the type of gun and maybe some related circumstance, I can barely tell if I can see a ball down that barrel or in that cylinder. Cylinder is easier to tell. A semi-auto, you would never even know. You would literally, professionals would not know.
I'd have to hear it.
Squatch, you're breaking up really, really bad.
My internet is trash right now. It just went to hell in a bucket.
Been there, done that. You were there when it happened.
Yeah, it happened.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. I didn't reset the router this time. Oops. Anyway, right, I've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes. I'm just going to float this one out there. Besides the fact that we're going to have a lot more people on the safety team, including whoever's handling the gun, whoever's going to have the gun pointed at them, potentially the cameramen, if they're going to be potentially endangered. The armorer, the prop master, the director, because you know what? I just feel like throwing directors under the bus. At the end of the day, the director is the movie is the director. So it will always be their product. Have all of them stand there, and the two people who are designated are the only ones that will load or unload, but everybody else gets to stand around and watch, and any one of them can throw a flag on the play and say, yep, no, stop, that's not right. Okay, I'm in here by myself now. So I'm going to put it back to there. Barely got that out, I'm sure. And on the happy side of the news, Kyle Rittenhouse's case is the case against Kyle Rittenhouse is dead. It is dead. It's over. Pack it up, go home. Which is where it should have been the day after the shooting itself. I mean, the hell's wrong with you? You're actually going to prosecute somebody for protecting, first of all, his family's business, which is their income. That's how they pay taxes. Stop and think about this, Mr. District Attorney, Ms. District Attorney, actually. This business is how that family paid taxes. And you want to prosecute them for protecting your income. Any king in history, if you set fire to a business or to a home, that king would come after you with his entire fucking army. That's what they kept the armies for, is to keep the king's peace. People who disturb that peace disturb their income. Kings do not like their income being disturbed. Oh, but we're not kings and queens. You know what? No, but it's still a state. It's a city of Kenosha, or the state of Wisconsin, or the state nation of the United States. I don't care. You destroy your tax base, there won't be a tax collected. And in allowing these riots to go on at all, you destroyed your tax base. Well, that's a bad place to start from. It gets worse. And it's not going to get better from there. So congratulations, Miss District Attorney. You really the dog in his ass this time. Fortunately, the judge said, no, you don't get to do this anymore. I'm kind of shitposting here. I think the judge did this to force the DA to rethink the whole case from the beginning. Yeah, this kid did shoot somebody. Okay, so what? These were not the wounded innocents that the district attorney wants you to believe they were. All right, these were actual terrorists, and I know that word is very easily used and generally misused these days. But when you're setting fire to businesses and murdering people in the street, give me a better word. This is beyond rioting and looting. And you don't believe me? Okay, fine. Go argue with Aaron Danielson. Did I invoke that name? Yeah, I did. For those of you that do not know, Aaron Danielson was a Trump supporter in the Portland, Oregon area. He was walking down the street past a parking garage, and I believe he was walking away from the police department at the time, when somebody stepped out from behind a pillar, concrete pillar at the parking garage and shot him in the back of the head. I will not repeat that man's name, just Mike Romeo. Stepped out from behind a pillar, shot Aaron in the back of the head. Total ambush. Shot him in the back, too. That's okay, fine, whatever. So if you don't want to call those people terrorists, fine. Get yourself a Ouija board and go argue with Aaron. As for Mike Romeo, he ended up dead about a week later in a shootout with police. Apparently, the cops really don't like it when you point guns at them. Who knew? All right. I've been going about 2 hours and 15 minutes now, which is longer than I usually do, especially considering that I'm trying to make Wednesdays down to 1 hour. Ladies and gentlemen, everything is going to get worse from here. Yeah, some things got better, but overall, the world is going to get worse from here for the next 2 years. So keep calm and mandatory carry on.